Well, good morning everyone. It's actually raining here again today too. We are forecasted to get a little bit more, probably in like the maybe 20 mil range. The Coromandel's getting hammered by another tropical cyclone, so they're like another 150 mils plus, about a week later than the last one. So this is awesome for January. Like, we will take any rain we can get now through till March, and this is setting it up to be a nice season for us. But I am just coming down to wind up this fence. I'm going to go put it up for the cows tomorrow. This is where they were here last night. Just check out the willow weed. It's gone crazy again. It usually sits in the real low-lying stuff, which is all through here. And I have sprayed out, or I did give it a spray a while back and got all this sort of young stuff, and this is just what sort of returned. Once the cows come out of that break there tomorrow morning, I can get in here and spray it. I'm going to give it one more go and try and kill all the young stuff that's coming up now. It's probably getting a little bit on the big side, but might as well try something before it sort of goes really to seed, which it is sort of doing at the moment. Because the less that goes to seed, the better. Means there'll be less next year, hopefully. Hopefully that's how it works. It's just so hard to keep this stuff under control. Like, I don't know if that spray will work too much on this big stuff. It'll definitely hamper it, but I think stuff like this it should definitely kill. Paddock's all set up for tomorrow, and I just noticed this dirty big ragwort, so I'll come and pull him out. But this maize, this is the stuff that was direct drilled. Mind all the Calves down here. It's real bad along this fence line, and it doesn't actually look too bad. To the eye, it doesn't look like there's too much of a difference. They did say, or I was predicted, that it might be a 5% less yield, but at the moment I can't notice much of a difference, so it is good to see. Oh, look at the root on that. Might need two hands. Thistles in it too. Look at the roots on that sucker. Just try and knock all the dirt off in the paddock. Might as well leave it here, but it can go in the dump. There's a couple of paddocks here, so mainly this one and the one next door. That one's probably worse, but it's just got quite a lot of willow weed in it, and I sprayed it about 5 days ago, and you can see the difference. Look at the colour between this plant here and that one. So this one was missed with the sprayer, and it is dying away, which is good, because hopefully it won't come back after this. There's also a patch just in there that got missed as well, and over there. So the spray job was pretty average, but got most of it. This one was done only sort of a couple of days ago, but you can see it's turning. Like, the leaves are starting to wrinkle up quite nicely. It's quite small, this stuff. It had been sprayed this paddock before, so sort of got the first germination. That one hadn't. That was the first spray over there, but it is starting to yellow off, so it's awesome. But you can see how it sits in all the low-lying parts. Like, there's a puddle here. You can see how there's no grass down the bottom because the water sort of killed it. So it sits in all the low-lying areas. It's not too bad on the higher stuff, but it's good to get this paddock sort of under control, because it got away on me last year. But hopefully with a couple of sprays kill most of it. It should sort of keep it under control. Probably need to do it for the next couple of years to really get on top of it, but it is just a horrible, horrible weed. When the new bulls turned up the other day that were out with the heifers, we sent the older calves down to Merv, so we sent 43 down there. I did say in another video that I wanted to send more down his way, so around that sort of 50 to 55 mark. Didn't happen this year. We only sent 43. It was just sort of circumstances didn't allow me to send more, but it is quite a good thing because we are sort of green at the moment. We're not drying out. Normally we'd be drying out and feed's a little bit scarce, but we have a little bit around at the moment, so it's not quite so bad, and hopefully next year I can send a few more down his way. So there's 28 in this mob over here. There's also 5 in the paddock over here right next to the cow shed. There's the 5th one there. And they're over here because I actually ran into a little bit of a problem. So I was a couple of weeks out from Christmas, and I noticed that a couple of them were losing weight, so I sort of pulled them out, put them in here, and got some poo samples. I was talking to the vets. They said bring some in, we'll test them and see if we can find anything. They did have a look in town for coccidiosis, couldn't find anything, came back negative, so sent them away to the lab in Hamilton, and it came back positive with Yersinia, which isn't a real nice disease. It's sort of brought on through stress, and we sort of came to the conclusion that it was sort of weather related. So it was good to know what it's dealing with, and I sort of could treat them with the right drug. So they're actually looking pretty good now. They could probably go back with the other lot, but unfortunately I did lose one of them, and I thought I was going to lose one of these ones too, but she's recovered. She is a little bit skinnier than the others. I'm not actually sure which one it is now, which is a good thing I guess, but it could be that calf just there. So it's not ideal, but unfortunately things like this do happen. But some better news, or what I have been waiting for quite a while, is the samples from the DNA testing to have come back, and they have, so we'll go and have a look at them. Righto, so I've printed out the list. This is pretty exciting. I've waited for this day for a while, and this was a list I printed out from a couple of months ago. So this was the original order of calves and matching their cows, and then this is the new data that I have. So what I've done is I've actually gone through and I've highlighted the cows that I have got correct. So I just matched them up to this list here, just like that. So all the ones at the start should be right because there were less calves coming in. So I did get a couple wrong, like this number 9. Quite interesting because I put it down as 252 originally, and it wasn't. It was number 53, although 252 did have a heifer calf, but it was numbered 17. So she did still have a heifer calf, although it was the wrong number, but it doesn't really matter because it was wrong anyway. But you can see I sort of went through this middle patch here where I didn't get many right, and then most of the end wasn't too bad. There were a couple. See, ones like this, it hasn't got the cow ID because the cow's no longer in the herd, although it's still matched up. Big period through there, I didn't get many right. And just the odd days, I guess, that, yeah, I was a bit unsure, or could have been 50-50 calls. I did say a while ago that I reckoned on average, I reckon I got about 60% of the calves right. The 20% I probably guess, I don't know who they belong to, and the other 20% are probably 50-50 calls. So in total, I got, out of the 77 replacements, I got 49 right. And what does that equal? 64%, so it was pretty close. So I really wasn't far off at all, which is pretty amazing. But when you think about it, it's only really a fraction more than 50-50, so pretty interesting. And they also give you a list of the animals that aren't DNA'd or yet in the profile. So most of these are the calves that are out at Mervs, the rising sort of, well, they're 1-year-olds, I guess, that have just been mated. So I need to do them, but I wasn't going to do them till they came home. Or, although I've got a little bit of time, I could go and use his crush. I've got 2 here which need to be resampled, and the lot from here, I got them mixed up. The tag says, well, I looked at the tags when we tagged them and we had a trouble too, so they both look like they were 22-22, so I'll have to go down and, yeah, get those 2. And these ones that I've highlighted in orange, these are cows that need to be redone. So there's actually quite a few, 2, 4, 6, 8, and then 10. So I need to go back through and get resamples of these. They don't charge you for the cows to get resampled. There must have been something wrong with the original samples and they couldn't quite use them, so I've got to go through, get some more. I'll just do it in the morning when I milk, so it's not too bad. Oh man, it's really raining now. It's just going to go back down to the sheds down the bottom. It hasn't really been raining all day, it's just been sort of lightly drizzling, but it looks like it's kind of setting in, which is good. It's just I wish I'd have got down the bottom before it had started. On the weather app, it says we're supposed to get about 1 mil between 4 and 6, and then 3 mils at 6 and about 12.5 at 8, so we might get 20 mils. Come down to shut the cows in, and this is also more maize that's been direct drilled, and you can see sort of standing next to these cows, it's not a bad crop, but like it is pretty tall as well. There are some plants, well, probably along here isn't the best because they sort of did get hammered a little bit by the pheasants, but it is looking pretty good. A lot of double cobs on the outside rows is to be expected, but hopefully, well, with all this rain they might double cop pretty well. Quite interesting down here though, you can see the maize, like the height of it just tails off quite rapidly, and then it hasn't grown quite so well through the bottom here, and I'm guessing that's just because these gum trees here are just sucking all the, well, I'm not sure if it's the moisture, but they're just sucking all the nutrients out, and yeah, it's really affected the maize. Like it hasn't, or the rest of the crop I guess is tasseled on the top there, and this stuff hasn't whatsoever. I don't even know if it'll cob up, to be honest. But getting back to the DNA, so I was actually speaking to my LIC rep the other day, and I was a bit curious because I thought that they used the DNA from the mother, so they matched the mother up and then they'd go to her calving date and then they could determine what the sire was by working that out and sort of the mating details. But they don't. They actually DNA the father as well, or the sire, so you get like 100% accuracy the first year, but after the first year I think they go to how I was saying before, they match the mating date and they can work it out from there. I'd have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure that's how they do it. But it's pretty cool because you get that like 100% accuracy this year at least anyway, and it's not really going to matter because if you enter the correct calving dates, which you're supposed to do, then they can work it out anyway, so it's no major. And the reason I asked is because the first calf born was like 2 to 3 weeks earlier than what it should be. It was born pretty premature, so on here it's actually unrecorded 8. They didn't have a sire. See, no sire name or details in here. But if you have a look at it now that it's updated, so the BW's gone up by 110 points, which is good, I suppose, and there's a sire name, Lighthouse, so you get correct information like that, which is pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thing to do, and I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. If you sort of do like your genetics like me, then it's a good thing. I think it does come at a cost, but I think that cost is definitely worth it for sort of genetic gain in the future. Like I know with these calves now I've got 100% accuracy of who their mother and their father is, and that's where I can get genetic improvement going forward. And from here on out, all the calves that are born will be the same. I'll have that accuracy with them as well. But that will pretty much do it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. It is a little bit shorter than normal, but I was just interested to get those results out because I find that stuff pretty interesting. It was pretty hard case though. I reckon 60%, and it was near bang on. So yeah, I don't know. I guess it isn't really that good. It should be a lot higher. But when you get big days of say 10 calves, or 10 calves for us is a big day anyway, and you go over there in the morning and they're all mixed up, it's pretty hard to keep a track of. So it's pretty cool now knowing that I'll have the accuracy. But I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, thumbs up like always, and apart from that, see you next time. There's something I almost forgot to add in here too, and that is the BW of the calves. So before they were DNA tested, they were 284 averaged, and then afterwards they were 286. So didn't really move much. Some of the calves lost BW, some of them gained it, so on average it stayed about the same.